It's
left
ready.
us go.
My daughter says somebody sat on it. Have you seen these little buttons?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have it raised.
Once a
It's
month
like
or something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, she gets to ride skid steer.
I called Beaverhead last to get.
Guess who's there filling the bucket?
You're cleaning the corner.
Yeah, guess who's filling the bucket?
Spend money
She's
or
like, I
not.
need somebody
Right.
to fill the
You
bucket.
need to do something with it.
Yeah.
How did,
Yeah.
Which
I
got
did
a
this when you were
voicemail, so
little
they
before
called
you were
this morning.
big enough to
Oh,
do this,
and
and now I'm
she-
still doing this.
Does she treat you to dinner at least?
She does. she
Okay.
does.
Plexiglass would be Go better in. than this. Like
Glass,
that, drag it
yeah.
out. Plexiglass.
Right.
She,
It's clear.
it's those pins, you know,
Oh,
and so she does, but she's like, I don't wanna take too much, cause that's sand, I'm taking away my sand, you know, she's got all that sand in there, so. Anyway, she wants me to pick through it, I'm like, I'm picking stalls, still. And I don't even own any horses, but I'm still picking stalls. So, anyway. I told her, she needs to get a ranch hand. She needs to hire,
That sounds right.
get big enough to
Get a-
hire a ranch
Get a
hand.
college kid out there.
She's been getting, she had some, an intern application from a gal in England.
Really?
And I was like, how, is she a student at the college? She said, no. She somehow, somebody went on a trail ride here with her and recommended her, so she reached out, she applied to be the intern. And I said, are you gonna pay her? And she said, no. She said she wanted to rent a place and come here, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I
Does
do
she
that.
have, does she?
I was like, she probably like writes English, so.
Does she have proof of insurance? That's the first thing I ask.
Yeah, and are
She
you,
has to
are you
insure-
eligible to work in this
No, I
country?
think you insure yourself.
You're not gonna be a J1B visa person for me. I said, well, that's kind of cool that you're getting people from out of the country, that's interesting, but that brings with it its own set of complications.
Good, how are you guys? Oh, now we're living in. My insurance. 17 cents on the dollar or something. And then it's value where I was 10 an hour. So you got 170. I bet her volunteer insurance would be $50 a day.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
All right. Maybe more than that, somewhere close to 20.
Next addition on the agenda is chamber update
Mr. Jones, you got the floor.
Well, thank you.
And city update, I'll get you.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to, I come bearing awards.
Wow.
Did you know that the chamber is award winning?
No, they're
So, I was at the governor's conference with the Department of Tourism, or Department of Commerce, Office of Tourism. And, I won the Rising Star Award
No doubt.
at my age.
pretty. We're just surprised.
My husband said, better late than never. So,
Very pretty.
so anyway, yeah,
Cool.
I'm gonna put a sticker over that.
American bird.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about them, but they're a little controversial.
Just electrician's paper or something like that.
Yeah, but, and then later, we were up for the Beaverhead treasure hunt, and it won marketing campaign of the year for the whole state. And we were up against Yellowstone Country and a couple of other marketing campaigns that,
They're pretty.
they used agencies, and I think that was the new brand for Montana tourism. Mitch Staley here in Dillon is the marketing or chief marketing officer, and the new brand for Montana is much more homegrown. This is Montana. He said, we're not going to have people skiing out of a helicopter, mountain climbers dangling by a couple of fingers. He said, we're not going to do these extreme sports again anymore because we don't want visitors come here and doing that and then get in trouble, and then we gotta save them. So he said, we're going to go back to kind of our roots where this is Montana. It's driving on a country road, a gravel road. It's kind of promoting what Montana really is. And if that's not your cup of tea, then Montana may not be for you, kind of thing. So I think it's a more holistic way to market the state. And the Beaverhead treasure hunt, he said, was right in line with their new brand, because he said It was an idea that we had and that we executed on the idea. We built a partnership with the university to make these things. We're in our 5th year doing it, so we've had longevity. And he said, you didn't use an agency to market it, you just did it yourself. And he said,
Can we get your photo with that Montana flag? Grab them 2 flags and send it over.
sure. No, I don't know my glasses.
I think, I don't know if I can get them between
So, he
you
said-
2 guys, but yeah, that Montana flag's good.
Easily move.
He said that's what kind of made this.
Is he talking on the phone?
There.
Thank you.
He said that's what made the marketing campaign so successful. So anyway, I thought that was really pretty cool, and I was really pretty shocked. And
Oh, really? Yeah.
we were up against Yellowstone Country, the Stargazer organization up at Canyon Ferry Lake, which is a statewide the Stargazer observation. So yeah, I was pretty excited last Tuesday to come back with 2 awards from the state. I'm looking for an award cabinet for all my awards.
There you go.
We have an after hours coming up at the end of May, and that's our ag extravaganza. We normally have that out at the 4-H building. You're all invited. The ag community is invited. John, if you want to take that out to Jackson somewhere and hang it up, I've got one up here already. So and it is on Friday, May 30th, from 5 to 7 at the 4-H building. And all the ag folks are invited, but also it's in conjunction with the junior high rodeo finals. So those families will be here in town, and we're hoping they'll come. Because, in the ag community, if it's not a day like today, they'll be in the field. And yes, last year was a beautiful day, so we hardly had anybody, which I totally understand. But hopefully this year we'll have some folks to eat the food.
There's very few, anytime you have a junior high, high school, or college rodeo, it doesn't rain or snow.
Awesome.
So
When it
there's
rains or
very
snows,
few, so it'll
we
be
get
raining,
people. We
it'll
get
be
people.
raining that weekend, if that's the case.
Because what happens is Keith Handlos is going to be our grill master, and he'll grill up all of the pork tenderloins. We had some beautiful pork tenderloins last year, and we just had to raffle them off because we just didn't have. It was just a course day. Everybody was busy working, and I get that. My dad was like that all while I was growing up, so it's a nice day. He would be out working. Other things that I'm working on right now is I'm working with the Dillon or Department of Commerce Main Street, Dillon Main Street, and I'm working with the City of Dillon on an Opportunity Rural Development Grant. And this is a grant that would help rural towns just with beautification or just kind of help fix things up in our town. I'm working with Headwaters last week. Kelly Sullivan made an appointment with us and brought Karen Burns from Butte Silverbow down and talked to us about a TIF. We talked talked about Overland Road area, we talked about downtown area that would incorporate quite a bit. So if we can get a TIF created, that would help put some money in a pot so that development could happen and buildings could be fixed up or something like that. We have a nice sheet an info sheet on TIFs, and I meant to bring that with me and I forgot, but it does talk and handles the objection of schools. Districts don't like TIFs because it takes money away from schools, and this says, no, that's actually not true. So anyway, that's what it says, but that's what I've always heard. So we'll dive deeper into that when we get into the public comment section of doing all of this, but I'm excited to at least help that out. I'm also working with the city on putting together the pilot grant committee. This is, you may have heard me talk about the pilot grant. This is some of that excess money in the Department of Commerce. This will be the 3rd cohort of doing the pilot grants. These are $2.75 million. They're giving to one town per region, tourism region. Anaconda, Deer Lodge Anaconda received it once. I think, I don't think Boulder got it. Remember the other one that got it. They have to be towns under 50,000 people or something like that. So, but it's a lot. It's like it's a big application, and I can't do it myself. the town has to have the growth policy done and this and that. So I've been working with Christina at the city to put something like that together. We can apply this fall, but we have to have a very diverse committee before we do that, and they have to have distinct objectives. I did talk to Red Lodge. They didn't get it their first year, but they did the second cohort, and they basically did it with trails. So we're thinking maybe trails would be something. One of the ideas is to connect the Beaverhead River to downtown Dillon. So build a trail under the interstate out to that park, that little park that's managed by Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, just so that people stay off the road. They're not, that it has big trucks that go to the dump and things like that. So if we had a trail, then walkers could walk on the trail and bikers could bike on the trail. And then that way we'd have some connectivity from the river and that fishing access to downtown. And that might help our downtown and the walkability of our downtown. I did talk to you before about the BDO zone woody biomass grant through the USDA. I have not heard about that yet, but I've not gotten a ding yet, so I'm still holding out hope. And I just got added to a woody biomass DNRC distribution, which I think is kind of interesting that I just got that this morning. So maybe there's something in the works. So, but that, if you remember, that was like a $75,000 grant to get a BDO zone rating for Beaverhead County. So still waiting on that. And I did check with the USDA office in Bozeman, and she said that grant had not been nixed yet by the federal government. A bunch of grants got pulled, but because that one deals with mitigating fuels, woody biomass fuels in the forests for fire, with wildfires, they didn't think it would be cut because they're not cutting anything to do with fire. I completed my CVB marketing plan, and I got that approved by my board, and I'll be presenting that in Glasgow in early June. So I'll get to drive to Glasgow. Rookie Herb and I are going to drive to Glasgow because she's on the Tourism Advisory Council. And then there's on June 13th, Friday the 13th, we're going to help. Let's see, Sky Jones has put together a nonprofit, and he wants to do a stick horse rodeo in JC Park. So we're going to help him with that. The chamber will be sponsoring, and Town and Country sponsoring the pie eating contest at 4 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock, Debbie from the bookstore will be doing, instead of a teddy bear picnic, we're going to do a horsetails picnic, since it's a stick horse rodeo. And so she has lots of books on horses and children with horses. So I think that should be a really fun afternoon to kick off that summer kickoff weekend, because the very next day is the demo derby and the summer kickoff concert. And by the way, Tim Montana will be in concert that Saturday night on the 14th of June. And he also won. He was an award winner that same day I was. So Beaverhead County brought home 3 awards, which is pretty cool for Beaverhead County. So, any questions?
No? Anybody?
And you wonder why you won that.
And I'm headed off to Paris, France on May 12th for 2 weeks.
What are we doing there?
It's our 40th anniversary kind of thing. We were supposed to do it for our 35th wedding anniversary before COVID, and that got canceled with COVID, so we're just now catching up on that.
There you go.
But should be fun, and providing I don't end up in a Russian prison, I'll be back to Beaverhead County.
Well, congratulations on the awards. That's cool.
Thanks, yeah. I was really surprised. I was surprised to see Tim Montana there, and there's a picture of he and I with all our awards, so that was pretty funny. But I was pretty excited to, be up there. And I mean, I don't wonder. I mean, I know I've worked really hard, and I just didn't know people in the state really took notice. So, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor?
Okay, going off some of Rebecca's, the TADs and ERGs and the TIFs. How I got started on it, I've been getting those emails from the Butte Economic Development Corporation. So I contacted them, and I said, because I know there are all these things there, and I kind of, hey, what do you do? And that's what they said. You need to set these districts. So that's how it all got started. I've been talking to them and going back and forth, and then we finally got set up a meeting with Rebecca and stuff. Get it all put together. Biggest thing, the urban renewal, it deals with cities. The TADs, the Target Economic Development, mainly deals with counties, so that way around dealing with counties. So if we ever put one together, a TED district, it would be have to be operated by the county because it's all county property out there on Overland right now. So that's kind of where those things started. So kind of try to do some research, and we'll probably pull you guys in if we start getting more of these meetings to increase Dillon, get some industry down in Dillon again, get some jobs going. So that's how that all got started. So
And then Ted's too, like, I still maintain that is not talking next year vision, that's talking 20 years from now. If you're gonna think this town isn't gonna grow in the next 20 years, you don't have to worry about it. But if you think it is, that's like I said, that's the stuff that probably right now should be getting looked at. So we don't end up like Bozeman. I guess it's so much grow where you wanna grow and keep them out of where you don't wanna go without zoning. That's what it's all about, I think. So, Ted, the targeted economic development. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna have an industry, you know, here's where they're gonna go. You know, we've got the Kelly Road, Vet Hospital, that whole little corner there, come right on down.
and then more or less they said, even if you set those up and nothing does happen, you know, they're 15 years. If nothing happens in 15 years, no harm, no foul, more or less, it just goes away, nothing happens. But if you start getting development there, that's when you start getting save your money on your taxes so you can start investing in streets, alleys, infrastructure problems. So something to start researching, I guess. And then next thing, since you're talking budget, our Meals on Wheel program. I don't know if you have.
Hey, Joyce, here it is. I
I know.
that.
Well, I'm here because of that.
Human resources. I don't know if you have a fund line on for human resources. But this all got started back when the 4Bs quit. And we had to go up to the college, and they started worrying about the temps and everything else. For the longest time, we were delivering out of cars, more or less, in coolers. And up there, the college is worrying about if someone gets sick, you know, a lot of that stuff is going to go back on their insurance, so they want to keep it at temperatures. So we started looking at vans, trying to get a van and build it up, still that. The cost wise, then Christina ran across this company here that makes these. That vehicle there, when she looked in January, is about $75,000. And who knows what.
But it controls heat.
Yeah.
And cold. It'll keep hot temperatures hot and cold stuff cold. So it'll be basically insulating from the weather around you. You know, it'll keep the foods that's why I gave you that temperature like thermometer, because it'll keep the food in the basically out of the danger zone, which is what we want to make sure with these Meals on Wheels recipients, that they're getting food that's delivered at safe temperatures. And, you know, the process they're using right now, they're doing the best they can, but, you know, weather plays a big role in changing the temperatures of the food, so.
Big costs, we looked at last winter in January, February, Christina applied to the Tom Pumps. They have a program that gives money for Meals on Wheels program. They already had all the money disseminated by then. So it's coming back up this fall, I think, the start of again. So but my biggest thing is see if in the budget, if you could come up with 20 to 25,000 to help purchase this vehicle. It's probably an $80,000 vehicle now with all the tariffs and everything. But it comes out of Indiana. They build it on site out there. And they ship it here. I think it's like $2,000, but they get it to us. So the city has, I think we can pull in about probably 30 to 35,000 for it. And if Town Pump can give us some money, that's the biggest thing is right now we're trying to see if we can get all the money put together to even buy one that. That's, I don't know how it ever got started, but Area 5 pays for the meals. They take care of that. Somehow the city started delivering for it. Most other Meals on Wheels program, they have volunteers deliver. Dillon's the only one that has the city's involved with Meals on Wheels program.
Crazy.
So,
And two, I mean, the city of Dillon, I mean, this is where the jurisdictions come, but you go outside of the city to deliver to
Right.
town,
Yeah,
you
so
guys,
vouch for that.
right now, the contract says to go 1 mile out.
1 mile out.
So that's what it is. If you guys would probably invest in it, we'd have to renegotiate, maybe go to 2 or 3 miles out.
We'll have to be
There's
careful.
people in Jackson that want
I
to
know, but that's where it gets the problem there.
But I guess what I've heard too is, even if they could go a little further, right, I mean,
Shit.
when I first heard this, I don't think we need to really be for Milton to change the jurisdiction or the boundaries unless the financing's there. Because man, you start going very far,
Yeah, that's
where is that line at, so.
Because right now, it takes him approximately 4 hours to deliver these mails. So if you go another bit out, just add time to it.
Yeah, the time's gonna increase dramatically.
And then, right now, the college says they're maxed out at 50 mails. That's the most they can do in a day. I don't know if we had this, if they could do more or not. That's another. But that's what it is, we're, right now, after then I seen Joyce's email, that's kind of, okay, commissioner's meeting coming up, I'll take that to him. So, but that's kind of where we're sitting, we're looking at that's the only economical way to do it. We were looking at vans and recoup them up and put heaters and coolers in the vans. And they're running use about the same price as that one would be. Then you'd have an old van and cobble together stuff in the back. This sets on a 1/2-ton Ford pickup, because that's what the company out there deals with, Fords. So, and that's what they're setting low enough, they said, height challenged people can deliver out of them, they can reach them.
I think too, you were gonna maybe look into seeing if the Meals on Wheels could be designated as a 501c3, so you could actually ask for donations, and I think you'd be surprised sometimes what people might be willing to give to help support the program too, so.
And that's what it is I think, because I know that Area 5 has meals, baked day, yeah, but that's for the food. I don't know if the city could do anything like that, because we're a city, we can take donations. That'd be, go to the attorney and ask that question probably, because it's above my pay grade.
Why couldn't you? Without asking.
I don't know.
I
If it was
mean,
for-
technically, the government is supposed to be a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
But I don't know if when people are filing their taxes, that donating to a government organization like Meals on Wheels would count as a 501, like it would, because they get deductions and things
Yes,
like
it
that.
does.
So I
It
think it's
does.
a question
does.
for an attorney or an accountant.
No, they can, but they write it to meals on it. To the program or whatever. Yeah, it can.
It does, they're the same as.
But running the program right now, average is about 18,000 by the time we pay the driver wages, insurance, gas and stuff on our, so it's running around $18,000 to $20,000 a year.
I just had a quick comment. Bicentennial Foundation, they try very hard to help the senior citizen population. So that might be a nonprofit that could be tapped to help in some way.
They would come forward, I'm sure.
Then on that van, there's a lot of blank spaces. I've always make it look like a NASCAR, get sponsorships from all the businesses around town, so it's driving around town advertising to all the businesses so that it continue paying for the maintenance of the vehicle.
Because especially if you get one of those Yeti things, because like you said, Yeti always sells those coolers that says keeps hot things hot, cold things cold. But I've always questioned is how does it know which one to do?
So that's what it is. As you go through budget time, if you have anything like that, if you can find any money in there. I know it's always a tough thing in government entities that are trying to find extra money for populations.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. Anybody, anything? No, I guess, thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun in Paris. By the way, there's so many great museums.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go to all of them.
I mean, yeah, it's like you wouldn't even
We're gonna
believe
go
the
to
art.
Normandy, my husband wants to go to Normandy. so
Oh,
we're
we
gonna
did
go.
that too. We did all the D-Day beaches.
Yeah.
And, oh, I learned so much history in that trip, just,
Yeah.
it
And we
was
had,
amazing.
you know,
My
both
dad
had a lot
went
of
to Normandy
time.
twice.
Dad was a sniper in
Yeah.
Normandy.